Well, it's my little harvest. I had 2 cucumbers that had girdles on. And then this the one. So yeah, you better water. You better water how you pour the water. Otherwise your cucumbers will have a girdle on. Then, so yesterday we got it said it was going to rain. But I did not expect what we got yesterday. Ooh, that one hit already. Ooh, good God. Okay, well, we got 2 peppers. Let me range my hand out. Backside of that other pepper, it looked pretty on the top side, but the backside was gone. You know, something got a hold to that or what? But anyhow, so 3 cucumbers, 2 peppers, maybe another pepper on here, but I may leave this other pepper for another day. Yeah, I'm gonna let it get a little bit more red. This one here. Yeah, that pepper was down. Anyway, peanut flowers, I see you. Y'all, I cut that celery on out the way and got the rest of those seeds. And that celery is over and done with. I'm through with it there. Let's see, what is this? A volunteer pea plant. That leaf about toe off. I'll just finish him off. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. I want to show y'all something. Even when you get a strong rain, y'all, some of that clay kind of hang around a little bit. But where I had just sprayed those fresh leaves, I got to go back and spray. Then this is why you need to already have your bamboo up. Because when those storms come, they just blow all your stuff over. I'm going to put bamboo there and straighten that. But you see, it blew it all over. It was standing up, but it just blew it all over. And it's a lot of places I got to put bamboo. So that's a project for this weekend. As usual, y'all see the aphids. They on here big time. And what am I going to do about the aphids? Y'all tell me. What am I going to do about the aphids? Somebody tell me. What am I going to do about the aphids? If your answer was diddly squat, you would be correct. Now somebody tell me why I'm going to do diddly squat. Put you just like that. Because the ladybug's going to show up. I know some of y'all, you can't hardly wait. You can't wait. When you see something, y'all run and start getting your spray. When it come to cowpeas and aphids, they gonna have aphids. Mine always have aphids. I think it's something about the nitrogen and the way that they produce nectar too. They're gonna have wasps on them too. The wasps are predatory, so the wasps eat some of these bugs. But then where the flowers are, I'm gonna have to show you on this other one. Where the flowers are, in order to get bees will come to these flowers. Let me talk to y'all a little bit about a cowpea flower. So, look at this. Hello, cutie pie. Anyway, bees will come to this. However, wasps will come here too. At these little nodes back here, they release nectar. So since this flower is not open, there is not an opening actually on this flower. So the pollen is on the inside. All that has to happen for this to get pollinated is for it to vibrate. So that's why you can grow any number of cowpeas next to each other. They will never cross because the flowers are closed. The reproductive parts in here are closed. See, it's a little sac around them. So no other pollen from anything else can get in there. So the only reason why the bee will come to this, he'll come over here and kind of buzz and look around for stuff, and that's vibrating the flower and shaking it. And then he'll fly off. He'll realize, oh, I can't get no pollen or no nectar, and fly off. The wasps come back here. You'll see the wasps all around these little nodules back here. There's nectar that these peas produce. And those wasps are there getting that nectar, but as they fly and flap their wings, they vibrate all of that stuff to pollinate it. And that's, oh Lord. But yeah, that's how that works. And I used to wonder all the time why I would see wasps. And I know wasps are predatory, but wasps also eat nectar as well. Yeah, some wasps, that's all they eat is nectar. Oh no, chill out. That fool come by here talking loud and crazy. And then I'm gonna kill this here while I got the opportunity. Oh dog, I thought I smashed him. Dog, he running off. He done flew off. Anyway, Japanese beetle. Golly. But anyway, I got to respray this today for sure. I don't have an option. I'm not gonna do it right this second. I'm gonna tickle a few flowers. But yeah, the callaloo's got to get resprayed. The collards, them doggone butterflies or whatever, they must lay their babies, or they start laying babies immediately when it rains. Because yesterday before the rain, that was perfect. Now it's kind of chewed a little bit. I got 3 little baby worms off of the other day. Oh, y'all excuse me. This don't make no sense. You know, I could just cuss. The arroz con pollo is such a pretty pepper. It takes a while before it starts putting on peppers, but I'm pretty sure it's going to put on peppers here in a minute. I got some basil in there. And y'all know how the sweet tart do. The sweet tart don't. Once you get started, it's hard to stop. Wait a minute. But I had to pollinate some squash down here today as well. And I do want to let y'all know, baby. Hold on, y'all. I got some beans up here. Okay, I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew I saw some beans up in here that needed to be. But I saw some other ones. I had to be careful walking through this yard, y'all, because there go. Well, that's so yellow, I think I'm going to let it go. Anyway, this squash. Talk to y'all a little bit about this here. So, I came out here hand pollinated this morning because I had some squash that was ready for me to hand pollinate. See if I can get it. Y'all see that one? Hold on. Y'all see that squash right there? So the yellow squash been the main ones producing. For your vining squash, any type of pumpkin, any type of the ones that run, they probably not gonna make a lot of squash until the vine get pretty long. That's why it's devastating if you get that vine borer early enough, because it'll probably kill your plant before they even, okay, that's a male. It'll probably kill your plant before they even really get to making. Cause see this one right here, I see a female in there. I see a female in there. But I need to guide this outwards because this looks like a vining one. Let's see. Yeah, this is a vining one. So I'm going to guide you a little bit more this way. So what I'm doing is I'm guiding them out here. Now keep in mind, I see that one now. I need to pull it down. So what I'm doing is, if all of them is planted in the bed, but the vining ones, I'm routing them and letting them come out this way. Because if the vine borer bite my plant up here, it won't kill the rest of the plant back there. He'll just damage the vine up here. 9 times out of 10, that squash vine will branch off and make another branch. Will it set you back? Yes, but it won't kill your plant. Because y'all know, like how I know, most of the time vine borers, they go right there. They try their best to go to the base of the plant and do they damage. Okay? Get this off of here. I'm gonna grab this one. This is a vining one here. And like I said, all I'm doing is routing them out this way. And y'all see the tool down here? So I got it pulled down in such a fashion that I'm not saying it's absolutely impossible for bugs to get in there, but y'all, bugs are creatures of opportunity. So they may lay babies on this, and I've been checking it. I haven't seen no babies, and I've been spraying it too. You can see a little of that kaolin clay still on there. But they are not the type of bugs are not the type of creature that will fly all the way to the edge and fly under. Also keep this in mind. Now this probably be more so for people who live up under a pine tree like me. You see, I got a couple of decent sized holes. I'm gonna take some either some more pieces of tool or something and cover those holes. But bugs, they kind of just fly over and they try to land on stuff. And then when they land and hit this, because the chance of them hitting them holes is much lower than all the rest of this, they're not really the type to be flying down low and, ooh, let me try to find, no, it gotta be a hole somewhere. So when you cover the top of this, usually you're gonna be all right. I found one leaf on the outside yesterday that had squash bugs on it. I ripped that leaf off and crushed those squash bugs. I haven't seen any more evidence. I have seen squash bugs out here. And this here, I need to clamp this closed and fold it up under the plants. But I have not seen any other evidence of squash bugs. So, like I said, y'all, this tool has been a blessing for me. I know most people, they don't want to go through the hassle, but y'all, I don't even grow squash every year. Tell y'all the plight about me and squash. I love squash. Hold, y'all, I see a harlequin bug. I'm gonna keep talking though. I love squash. Both the summer and the winter squashes. I love them both. Hold on, I see another harlequin bug, yeah. When you see stuff in your garden, don't let it stand there. You have to get that stuff, especially these old harlequin bugs, because they have your stuff looking crazy. Anyway, I like summer squash and winter squash. The summer squash in the store around here look like they've been, fist fighting with it. So I'm not interested in that summer squash like that. So I prefer to grow my own. It doesn't have any taste. They pick it too early. They tell my yellow squash it be green. That's how early they pick that stuff. Don't even be yellow. So I don't want it. I'd rather grow my own. And I used to grow squash every year. I don't grow squash every year anymore because the squash bugs and stuff did me so dirty. So let me turn my... So there's a guy about 2 blocks over. He only grows 2 things. He grows squash and he grows corn. So he grows 2 of the 3 sisters. That's all he grows. And he doesn't cover, doesn't spray, doesn't do anything. Very rarely does he actually even get squash. Sometimes he'll get 2 or 3 summer squash before the squash bugs and the vine borers take his plants out. But he grows the sheer amount of squash that he grows, and because that's all he grows so many plants. If I had to guess, he probably grow, and I think he's growing so many plants because he knows that the bugs gonna get him. And you know how people, and this is what I want to caution y'all about. This is why I tell people be careful who they take advice from, because some people gonna give you advice and they don't even really know what they doing. They don't know they ass from a hole in the ground, but they out here giving advice. He's the type, he know how to plant the seed, he know how to water the seed, but past that he don't know too much anything else. He just know how to water and keep the stuff alive and harvest. He don't really know too much else. And he the type of person, he ain't gonna take the time to learn nothing else either. And y'all need to understand that. There's people out here in the world like that too. I don't suggest you fraternize with people like that. But anyway, but why am I saying that? Because it's a few preventative measures he could take that would help him with his squash, but he won't do it. He could cover, he could use BT, he could use diatomaceous earth, he could do any number of things. He won't do it. He'll just plant more squash plants. And his idea is, well, they get half the squash plants, I'll get the other half of the squash. But here lately, that ain't what's been happening. Hell, they been getting all of his plants. He get 2 squash out of 20 some odd plants. Now you tell me that ain't crazy. But after doing a little research, if I'm not mistaken, those vine borer eggs and squash bug eggs, if those eggs don't have enough time, because the vine borer and the squash bug, they constantly laying eggs, right? When they get to the end of the season, because he still have his little squash plants, they just barely be hanging on. But if you still have the mothers laying the babies, if they don't have a chance to hatch out, it is to my understanding that those eggs are able to overwinter in the soil if they need to. Right where she lay them. Or if you got squash bug eggs on your leaves or whatever, or on those vines, and your vines die down, because see, he don't even pull his stuff. He let all his stuff die down right there in the spot. He turned that back into the soil, which that ain't necessarily a bad tactic. But he plants right in that same spot. So when he turns all that eggs and all back into the soil, when he grows squash again, they're going to come up. But see, here's the thing. When I don't grow squash, that doesn't affect me. When I do grow squash, I think that's why I used to get so many squash bugs. Because when I was growing squash every year, y'all, they was hurting my feelings so tell. I just said to myself, the hell with that. I'm not growing squash anymore. That's what I told myself. I said, I ain't growing squash anymore. I said, this is ridiculous. I said, just soon as the squash get on the stuff and my mouth start watering, here come the squash bugs in the back. And I couldn't understand why they were so bad. Like, you know, why would the bugs, the pressure was that bad? And then finally I'm rolling through the neighborhood, walking through the neighborhood rather, and I saw that man's patch of corn. But when I saw that corn, I looked down, I said, oh my God, look at all that squash. So that's when I figured out, this is why the squash bug's so bad in the neighborhood. Can't nobody in the neighborhood really grow squash without some type of protection. The lady up the street that been wanting to grow squash, she seen me growing mine, and she come past here and she said, what's that you got on? What is that up under there? I said, squash. Well, what you got that netting on it for? To keep the bugs off of it. And she seen it's July, and my stuff ain't got nary a bite. And when I tell you, she said, where you get this stuff from? I got to get me some of that. Because you know I ain't been able to grow no squash. Yes, ma'am, I know. So, yeah, you going up there to Hobby Lobby or one of these fabric stores and get you some tube and, you know, do your thug thistle. So, you see what I'm saying? My thing is this here. I'm not in love with hand pollinating. It's not really not that bad, because when I come out here, most days I don't even have to hand pollinate anything. I'll look through the plants, and most days I don't have anything to pollinate. I think I'm finna get to a point where it is every day I may have 2 or 3 to pollinate, because I see a lot of new females coming on. But keep in mind, y'all, at the beginning when your squash come on, it's going to be mostly males anyway. Ain't going to be nothing to pollinate. You go up under there and get them squash flowers, the fried. Y'all don't be wasting, because them squash flowers, honey, that's some good eating. That's some good eating. But at first, you're not going to really have a lot to pollinate. You're not going to have a lot to do until they get bigger and you start seeing the females. When you start seeing the females, that's when you're going to have something to worry about. But like I said, if you're growing a vining type, no, don't run and try to chase a 20-foot. Because these, when I grew buttercup, those vines got to be 40, 50 feet long. I'm not tooling 40 or 50 feet of vine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tool up maybe the first 6, 7, 8 feet of it, which is how, you know, long. Well, that tool is actually much longer than that. I got a whole boat. But I'm going to tool the first, you know, let's say 10 feet. Because if it bites it 10 feet out, it'll just grow another branch and keep living. I don't want it to bite right down at the base, eat all around the base, and then eat the whole plant off. Because y'all know how they do. You know how when you get to that vine borer, the whole doggone base of that plant be ate off. And it's no way for it to survive. When I had buttercup and the vine got long and it would get out 10, 15 feet long, further past, those vine borers would bite that vine, and if that vine was laying on the ground, it would root on the ground, and that sucker would keep going, because they wouldn't eat the whole vine. They would just eat that, you know, the one little place. But that's not the case necessarily for all of them. But, you know, and if you're growing squash and you're not really having a problem with the vine borers, because I see I see David Corey. He grew Kush out his stuff. I didn't see nothing covered, and I don't think he put nothing on it. Showed him look like. And Sweet Tomato Vine, Homestead. This year, now I know last year she was using diatomaceous earth like crazy. But this year it don't look like she put nothing on it. She's been harvesting squash. And I hadn't seen no squash bugs or no vine borers. So, you know, if you know anybody else, please tell them. If they make content, please make a video and try to help us who out here in these streets struggling. And our squash getting ate to the ground. Try to help us and tell us, what are you doing, if anything? And if you're not doing anything, why do you speculate that the bugs is leaving your stuff alone? You know, we would love to know. That's the information I think in the gardening community that we need to share with each other, instead of all of this BS information that's not worth a nickel. Speaking on BS information that's not worth a nickel, let me check on my crackhead over here. But I do want to put my I'm gonna put my sandals on. I'm gonna go to the back. I went to the back, but I haven't been way to the back. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about some people just regurgitating information. Let's be careful, y'all. Let's be careful. We don't want to sit up and just regurgitate information. We want to give all the information. Oh, you got pushed over, huh? I'm gonna have to stand you up. Somebody gave me some house plants. But y'all know I don't really fool with no house plants. Oh, that sucker got heavy too. Ooh, homie don't even want them. Homie, oh jeez. This is, ooh. Child, this see, this why I don't grow stuff like this, huh? It required too much love, care, and attention. Ooh, anyway. Houseplants is prissy, you know. I don't too much even do prissy people, let alone prissy plants. Yeah, please. I need something. It's the thuggish, ruggish one. That's what I need. I need something hood. Let me see here. So I checked on my peaches earlier. I'm gonna run back here because I already know after it rain like how it rain, the mosquito. So if I be running, don't nobody say nothing. The basil looking good, ain't it? That's Genevieve's. I don't see nothing too foolish out here that look crazy. The raspberry got plenty water. A lot of this stuff back here needed water. Needed water something fierce. Look at this taro. Look how big these taro leaves are. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. Got figs on my fig, people. Figs. The figs is figging. The figs is figging. When your figs got figs on them, keep them watered, people. Keep them watered. You know, keep them watered. I got news. And I've got to organza bag these figs because it was one of my brown turkeys. See, the brown turkeys is getting ready. I see them. They're getting ready. Look at this. This must have got knocked off. Yeah, because it ain't ready. It's hard as a rock. So the LSU didn't put on anything this year. Celeste put on something, but she ain't hardly get enough water. I mean, it was a little period. She dropped her little fruit. But I've got the organza bag those fruits. The Sam Houston graft that took, I unwrapped it. I took the grafting tape off. I harvested all the peaches on this tree. I have 3 on the rusting red. They're still hard. They're not ready. Okay. I got stuff back here that I most definitely need to get out from back here. But a lot of stuff, the peas is one. I'm going to get them peas in the ground so that I can have, they big enough plants. And then I got some bell peppers right here. I might cluster them all up real close together. African Queen. And this is another thing I want to mention to y'all. If y'all can keep y'all tomatoes alive, even if they quit making fruit, your African Queen starting to look like something now. You going up yonder. This here tomato is going, look here, it done rooted, growing in this pot. That done touch the ground, it done rooted over there. And then that's to get stuff finally starting to look like something. I think I got enough season left to make those, be able to get a harvest out of those. I think. Um, that's the Chicago Hardy Fig. That's the Uvilla. This branch, I don't even know what happened, child. I don't even know what happened. My pole raised, but the whole branch died. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But the rest of the plant look all right. It look healthy. Grandma cheese looking okay. But I did want to show y'all this here. Like I said, people be, oh, don't let your tomatoes touch the ground. They get disease. Hey. Child, please. And I wonder where did them old fallacies come from. Because look at this. Oops, sweet gum balls. Oops, sweet gum balls. Ooh, it rained hard. Sweet gum balls don't feel. Ooh, I would have to collect them. But look at him. Do these tomatoes look diseased, y'all? Do they look diseased? Now, they ain't growing very big because they over here in the shade. But do they look diseased to y'all? That's why I say I don't know where people get these ideologies. Like I said, you heard somebody say something, but you didn't even go test the theory. You just went on what they said. And them people probably did the same thing. We have to stop doing that. I have a serious problem with miseducation, especially in the black community. If you have not read The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, I don't know what you waiting on. And as a black person, if you are spreading misinformation, you, in my opinion, you lost your cotton picking mind. Because I would never want to be the one to participate in that. That's why we in some of the predicaments that we in now, behind miseducation. False information. People misrepresent things. And then we go behind them and repeat it, especially with this social media culture. Don't get me started. Social media have people looking at memes and actually saying this stuff out loud. And it ain't a bit more true than the man in the moon. It's absolutely insane. If you get your news from social media, please stop. That's about, look at the mullein seeds and germinate. That's why I brought this in here. I don't know what was digging out there, but I ain't have time to be fooled with that. I need to water these tomatoes and stuff up in here so they can, I need to water man fertilize so they can get a fighting chance. But the cherries look good. Some been eating them up just a little bit. They ain't ate up too bad, so I ain't too much worried about it. Yeah, y'all. I still got a little work to do. Y'all don't be this late in the game planting stuff out. I call myself planting that for fall because, you know, some of this stuff I didn't get to it, but it is what it is. Sometimes you're overzealous when you start stuff, and you may or may not get to it. You never know. Show y'all the elderberry. I know the elderberry was happy. Got some rain yesterday. Show y'all what I was talking about. So, see this? Almost full pollination. Y'all see that? But because this tree is still so small, now don't get me wrong, this is the best pollination I've ever gotten out of this tree. But I don't know if y'all can see that. You see how it's a bunch of them, just sticks? They didn't get pollinated. So you got to have two different strains of elderberry. So if you got a wild one, like this one was in my yard already. The other one came from Go Grow. So if you got a wild one, and you know somebody that, you know, maybe not too far from you, a state or two over, whatever, see if you can get one from them. And it rained, but shoot, it still didn't feel. It filled some barrels up. Not all of them, though. I heard the frogs last night. I see a lot of eggs in every last one of these. Oh no, shut up. It's just me. Oh no, you're so damn stupid. Anyway, he here talking, he go to barking, it's me. See, that's what I told you, he be on the edge, honey. He be on the edge. His mother drank too much when she carried him. Y'all tell me if y'all know what movie that come from. And who said one of my favorite? Yeah, I guess. Well, she ain't really a comedian. She an actress, but anyhow. That being said, y'all, I think I'm gonna turn y'all loose. My roselle starting to look like something. Pray the Lord. Pray the Lord. I was hoping to see some buds. I'm gonna need you to start doing your third filter. Anybody got time to be waiting on all that? But yeah, y'all. Till next time. See you guys later.